I can see clearly now. Hey, the rain is gone. Hello there, lovers. Hello there, buddies. If you have not already done so, please remember to like, share to Facebook, subscribe, and visit uptopbeauty.com for these Ms. Hollywood DC shades in brown. Oh, these the brown ones? Oh, no, these the tortoise ones. Okay. In tortoise. And if you are not already a part of this book club, please hit the Patreon link below and or the join button here on the YouTube. And for a small monthly fee of $5, you babies, yes, you can be privy to all the shenanigans before the YouTube gets it, if the YouTube gets it. Y'all been really supporting me via uptopbeauty.com. I love you and I appreciate you. Now, let's continue talking about the color of incest is purple. One day when I was changing her as she lay in bed, she gave me a long, mean, but somehow pitiful look. Why do my children look like you? She asked. Do you really think they look so much like me? I said. You could have spent them out, she said. Maybe just living together, loving people makes them look like you, I said. True. Maybe just living together, loving people makes them look like you, I said. You know how much some old married people look alike. Even these women saw the resemblance the first day we came, she said. Now, this is because Karen does not know that Adam and Olivia is Nettie's niece, nephew, sister, brother. Okay? I told you the name of this book is The Color of Incest is Purple. And that's worried you all this time? I tried to laugh it off, but she just looked at me. When did you first meet my husband? She wanted to know. And that was when I knew what she thought. She thinks Adam and Olivia are my children and that Samuel is their father. Oh, silly. This thing has been gnawing away all these years. I met Samuel the day I met you, Karen. I said. I still haven't gotten the hang of saying sister all the time. As God is my witness, that's the truth. Bring the Bible, she said. I brought the Bible and placed my hand on it and swore. Ooh, I remember one time my grandmother made me swear on the Bible. Why did she do that? I think I was 7. And I was lying. Ooh, I knew I was going to hell every second of the day after that. Because I had put my hand on that Bible and I lied. Then she called Samuel and made him swear that the day she met me was the day he met me also. He said, I apologize for this, Sister Nettie. Please forgive us. As soon as Samuel left the room, she made me raise my dress, and she sat up in her sickbed to examine my stomach. Wait a minute, Miss Karen. I don't give a fuck how sick you are from fever and delusion. If you ain't about to munch on nothing down there, then there ain't no reason for me to raise my skirt. Bush is the baker. Girl, I'm so glad the times have changed. I felt so sorry for her and so humiliated, silly. And the way she treats the children is the hardest part. She doesn't want them near her, which they don't understand. How could they? They don't even know they were adopted. Karen, bitch. We are all sad here, silly. I hope life is happier for you. Your sister, Nettie. Dear silly, guess what? Samuel thought the children were mine too. That is why he urged me to come to Africa with them. When I showed up at their house, he thought I was following my children, and soft-hearted as he is, didn't have the heart to turn me away. If they are not yours, he said, whose are they? But I had some questions for him first. Where did you get them? I asked. And silly, he told me a story that made my hair stand on end. I hope you, poor thing, are ready for it. Once upon a time, there was a well-to-do farmer who owned his own property near town. Our town, silly. And as he did so well, farming and everything, he turned his hand to prospered. He decided to open a store and try his luck selling dry goods as well. Well, his store did so well that he talked two of his brothers into helping him run it. And as the months went by, they were doing better and better. Then the white merchants began to get together and complain that this store was taking all the black business away from them, and the man's blacksmith shop that he set up behind the store was taking some of the white. This would not do. And so one night the man's store was burned down, his smithy destroyed, and the man and his two brothers dragged out of their homes in the middle of the night and hanged. Now we know that Steven Spielberg tried to, squash it together in a way that suited the movie, but this is how the Reverend and his wife got Adam and Olivia. Keep listening. The man had a wife whom he adored, and they had a little girl, barely 2 years old. She was also pregnant with another child. When the neighbors brought her husband's body home, it had been mutilated and burnt. The sight of it nearly killed her, and her second baby, also a girl, was born at this time. Although the widow's body recovered, her mind was never the same. She continued to fix her husband's plate at mealtime, just as she'd always done, and was always full of talk about the plans she and her husband had made. The neighbors, though not always intended to, shunned her more and more, partly because the plans she talked about were grander than anything they could ever conceive of for colored people, and partly because her attachment to the past was so pitiful. She was a good-looking woman, though, and still owned land, but there was no one to work it for her, and she didn't know how herself. Besides, she kept waiting for her husband to finish the meal she'd cooked for him and go to the fields himself. Soon there was nothing to eat that the neighbors did not bring, and she and her small children grubbed around in the yard as best they could. While the second child was still a baby, a stranger appeared in the community and lavished all his attention on the widow and her children. In a short while they were married. Almost at once she was pregnant a third time, though her mental health was no better. Every year thereafter she was pregnant. Every year she became weaker and more mentally unstable, until many years after she married the stranger, she died. Okay, pause. When a man marries and impregnates a woman who is clearly mentally ill, I be thinking that mother hunchy a bit mentally ill himself. Because why would you do that unless you had a trick up your sleeve? Unless you know eventually this woman is going to go crazy and die, and then you'll get all her properties, including her children. Don't forget, Paul is casted as Thick Thighs Diddy. 2 years before she died, she had a baby girl that she was too sick to keep. Then a baby boy. These children were named Olivia and Adam. This is Samuel's story, almost word for word. The stranger who married the widow was someone Samuel had run with long before he found Christ. So this was Samuel's friend. This was the Reverend's friend who married the crazy lady. Forgive me for calling the lady crazy, but the lady who is mentally unstable, or who was mentally unstable because she did pass. The stranger who married the widow was someone Samuel had run with long before he found Christ. When the man showed up at Samuel's house with first Olivia and then Adam, Samuel felt not only unable to refuse the children, but as if God had answered his and Karen's prayers. He never told Karen about the man or about the children's mother because he hadn't wanted any sadness to cloud her happiness. So wait a minute, this ain't making no sense. Okay, wait. I can see clearly now. Hey, the rain is gone. Y'all, listen to me. This is the story. Okay, so now I get it. I ain't understand it when I read the book last time and when I watched it in the movie, because I guess the way that Sealy broke it down, I was so very confused. But dig this. So pay attention, because this is going to move fast and I need you to keep up with me. The crazy lady already had Sealy and was pregnant with Nettie. She was an attractive woman, so it would take this dirty, rotten scoundrel of a motherfucker, Paul, I don't know his name, to come up and be like, I just was talking about this. This got to be a fucking crazy to want to marry another crazy person. But then you got this dirty, rotten scoundrel, Paul, that's like, She got 2 daughters already. I done plugged her with the 3rd. She crazy. She don't know what to do with all this land. I can marry this crazy bitch because I ain't shit, and sit back like a fat rat in a cheese factory and reap all the benefits, because eventually this crazy bitch gonna die. And while she ain't looking, I'm gonna hunch her oldest daughter. And when I get finished with her, I'm gonna go to the next daughter, Nettie, because we ain't blood. The color of insects ain't purple. He impregnates his stepdaughter. Sealy takes the children to his reverend friend and say, hey, look, what happened to me was I married this crazy lady. We done had 2 more kids. I can't handle these 2 children. The other ones, they grown enough to take care of themselves, but I can't do it. Would you please take these children for me? And the reverend says yes. He says yes because he knows that this nigga Paul is a dirty, rotten scoundrel. Woo! I can see clearly now. Boom, 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 boom. The rain is gone. He never told Karen about the man or about the children's mother because he hadn't wanted any sadness to cloud her happiness. But then, out of nowhere, I appeared. He put 2 and 2 together. Remember that his old running buddy had always been a scamp and took me in without any question, which, to tell the truth, had always puzzled me. But I put it down to Christian charity. Karen had asked me once whether I was running away from home, but I explained I was a big girl now, my family back home very large and poor, and it was time for me to get out and earn my own keep. Tears had soaked my blouse when Samuel finished telling me all this. I couldn't begin then to tell him the truth. But silly, I can tell you, and I pray with all my heart that you will get this letter. If none of the others, Paul is not our Paul. Your devoted sister, Nettie. Dear God, that's it, say Suge. Pack your stuff. You're coming back to Tennessee with me. But I feels days, my daddy Lynch, my mama crazy, all my little half brothers and sisters no kin to me, my children not my sister and brother, Paul not Paul.
Because remember, her stepfather married another little girl, because that's what he do. He married little girls, okay? And those children that her stepfather had with the other little girl are no blood kin to her. Dear Nettie, for the first time in my life, I wanted to see Paul.
All right.